Welcome to the Stone and Wood Post Show. We have earned them today. A couple of slow heats, some more upset results, some world champs and former event winners falling at the hands of some rising talent on the championship tour. As we take in that glorious view, looking over the lineup here at Winky, all the way down to Bells Beach. Ronnie Blakey joined by Richie Lovett, Kaipo Guerrero. What a day. I think it was a tough call for the organisers. Will we get underway at the Bells Bowl? Will we move over to Winky? We opted for the bowl. And, we saw some big names fall. We saw some big names return to the CT, of course, talking about Gabriel Medina. But what about Molly Picklum in the last heat of the day, Kipes? World title energy or what?
That's the way to finish off it. That's the way to finish off a day. That was the exciting finish of the way. We had, like you said, we had some slow heats. We had some grindy heats, but Pickle's showing like she's in form. Is it too early to say perhaps back-to-back?
Oh, man. Well, no. That was my call even before the season got underway. Just Molly is just so headstrong. But that's one heat, and this is an event that she struggled in, Rich, so we'll see how she fares. But fun to dive into these highlights.
Yeah, absolutely. And there has been these little highlight moments through the whole day. It's felt grindy, and some of the heats were quite grindy, but we got through it, and there was some really good surfing.
Yeah. Something happened later on in the afternoon, though, and there was a real push in the energy from the ocean, and as a result, we saw a number of good scores dropping, but none better than Molly Picklum up against Sally Fitzgibbons here.
Yeah, this was a great heat, and I love the way Sal started off here, just taking to the air, really showing her intent, but Molly just found these two gems, and the power commitment is undeniable, and this turn was almost like a mini version of that sunset turn that she did that was resonated around the world, but she found two of them. She sat up high right at the upper section at Winkipop here, and then just finished off so strong. Wow. Just fully disconnecting from the lip there, blowing the tail. And have a look at this scoreline, 16.5 heat total, excellent. And unfortunately for Sal, just didn't really wager a comeback at all, unfortunately.
Yeah, really difficult. Highest heat score total of the event so far, Kipes, men or women, and Molly just, going to her strengths, power, rail work, good variation too on the forehand.
Just too strong, too confident to deny Molly Picklum is the most informed woman that we've seen surf a heat so far in this competition.
Yeah, and she's sort of been marinating on getting her year underway, and I'm sure for a lot of the competitors, there was some stress around that, including the defending champ, Jack Robinson, who fell out of the mix today. Heavy.
Yeah, it was a tricky one against Sammy Pupo, and seemingly, it was kind of going to plan. It looked like we were going to have a great heat on our hands. Sammy Pupo was ripping. He was really putting pressure on Jack Robbo. Was surfing like that. That's the sort of form that we see him dominating the Challenger Series, and Jack just looked in great form as well on the new equipment, took to the air, looked really, really strong. And then there was just this little moment in judgment where he got this interference, and then that was it, all she wrote.
Yeah, that was enough. Came pretty close there to Sammy and got that interference call. But Jack, the knee's looking good, just his surfing, but that was just a lapse of judgment right there for Jack Robinson, and Sammy Pupo, who was already winning the heat, was able to exploit on that.
Yeah, that's right. It was a really close call probably, but I think once Sammy appealed, Jack was so close to him, I think they had to go there. But yeah, super impressive performance from Sammy. Jack kind of digesting just the news that he'd suffered that interference. I mean, the good thing for Jack is he's heading to a place that he's right at home. He is at home, and a place where he's had great success over there in the West. Sammy Pupo, though, a great return to the CT for him.
Yeah, Sammy was just ripping, wasn't he? Surfing just so fast, and just that lightning approach, I love seeing it, and I feel like every time he comes back to the tour, he's gotten better and better, and we're seeing a new look Sammy Pupo right now.
And he's a master of coming back to the tour. He's been on and off tour. He's struggled for that for years now, but he's back, and let's see how he goes this year. There's a good start for Pupo.
Cool.
Yeah, most definitely. Another big heat that we were looking forward to was the rematch of Italo up against the wildcard, Xavier Huxtable, a guy that we've all got big big props on. I think we see this guy graduating in the CT. He certainly made a mark on the event last year, knocking Italo out of the contest. But Italo looks so tuned in this heat, Rich. He really looked to clean up the mistakes that he had last year when he lost out to Xavier.
Yeah, that sense of kind of urgency and that kind of frenetic style of competing that we sometimes see from Italo, that was not here today. That was a very composed and, you know, looking at him at the way he surfed and even the way he completed his rides, this looked like someone who was on a mission just to get the job done, and he got it done. He knew when to push, he knew when to just show a little bit of restraint. He got busy when he had to. And yeah, he really dominated this heat.
Hey, I'm going to say it though. Last score, this one right here, for Xav, came really close. And this was, for me, a flip of the coin right here for Xavier Huxtable. He nearly turned the heat right there, came in just under, and Italo moves on.
You almost feel like if he had one more turn at the top of the wave, or that last turn was a bit more dynamic, then maybe the judges would have given it to him. But a solid heat nonetheless from Italo Ferreira, and a great performance from Xavier Huxtable again, showing us that, you know, his place on the championship tour is waiting for him.
Yeah, Xavier's last ride had the bite, but it didn't have the venom to really get Italo in that instance. But yeah, Italo, I think we've seen him before. We love the way he competes. High energy, just absolutely ferocious. But sometimes, like, it seems like he can overamp when he starts to keep that board in the water and save that big rotation, that backside air for those special moments when his back's up against the wall. I think that's when he's really at his truly deadliest form.
Yeah, absolutely. The Timmy Patterson's looking really good under his feet, channeling the Formula One Red Bull car with the paint jobs there.
And also, you know, just props to Tico and Teco over Silver Surfboards, who've been building all those for Patterson Australia, and they've been really working on blanks and stringers and a lot of tech that goes into those boards, those blades, and they look sharp. But yeah, Italo Ferreira, by the way, the next round, Gabriel Medina, that's going to be one to watch.
Oh, yeah. Cannot wait for that. Coming up the stairs after a really impressive performance there, Molly Picklum. She's got plenty of fans down here.
That's Dad.
Yeah, that is awesome. And yeah, she is going to be a force as she powers through the rounds. Just seems to be dealing with the pressure that comes with having that spotlight burning bright on you and dealing with all the media attention. She's come to Bells before in the yellow jersey, not as a world champion, and kind of faltered at times. But yeah, that was absolutely rock solid, and we're going to hear from her now.
Thanks, Ronnie. Molly, you've come to Bells many times, you know, wearing the gold, wearing the yellow jersey, and it's sort of been a real heavyweight for you coming to your major sponsors event, and you haven't really put together performances that you've really wanted to showcase. This time, I mean, that just reeked of I've had a gut full of feeling like this in the early stages. It's time to open up and tee off. How has this sort of, you know, preparation been different to the past years?
Yeah, obviously being the first event, I've been able to come down nice and early and try and, you know, spread the commitments and all the good fun kind of out a little further, so it's not so heavy loaded just before the event. And then we've had so much time, so I'm ready, and I just have such good people around me, so I've got really good energy down here, and I don't know, it's good. And I'm obviously, like, it's one thing having a good preparation, but then to actually take it in the water and do it is another, and I'm just continually focusing, making sure that I'm turning up and showing up every single moment for each heat.
Comp's been going for a week. You finally get to pull the Rashi on. You know, how hard was it to just measure yourself into that kind of performance?
Yeah, I honestly feel like at home here with the Wiley family and Kobe, like I had so many friends and like loved ones around down here, and I kind of forgot the comp was like kept being on hold because I don't know, leave that to coach's role to tell me when he'll think I'm surfing, and he was like bang on with the calls just saying, nah, you're not on. And so I was just living like home style. So I honestly felt like day one was today for me, and I honestly just didn't feel like, you know, the lay day torture where you're just like, oh, when can I go? I wasn't itchy. I was just like, whenever my opportunity is, I look forward to that, and today was that day.
Mate, Today was a really hard day for a lot of surfers. We saw the best surfers in the world really struggle to put together meaningful scores, meaningful totals. You got 16 plus, mate. Is that just a world champ flex or what?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it feels good, but like, you know what the ocean's like? I really went out just going, I hope I get 2 turns, and I'm happy when the scores got read out and I was hearing 7s and 8s, and I was like, yeah, this is sick, you know? And I feel like I was just, I don't know, just dancing, wiggling on the waves, and I'm happy to be getting scores. So let's see how we keep going.
You look relaxed, you look ready, you look like you're wearing the world title so well, and that was a great performance to finish off. Tough day of surfing. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm so happy to be underway here at Bells, and keep it going.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Excellent surfing from Molly Picklum. She had more excellent rides than anyone else on tour last year on the women's side. 7 excellent heats total. She's kicked off her first heat of 2026 with another excellent score. Super impressive, and again, just impressed with just the way she's conducting her interviews. She just looks so comfortable, as I said, in that spotlight, Cops.
Yeah, and just confidence, right? And the confidence builds upon it. And for such a young surfer, to have that maturity to handle all of these things that are circling around her and still come out and focus on the moment and produce surfing like that, that's so impressive, and that's what world champs do.
And another competitor that we're predicting is going to be pushing Molly hard in that world title battle this season is Gabriela Bryan, who we're throwing up as a contender for the Mophie power move. And Gabby, we just can rely on these really deep rail turns, Rich.
Well, you'd argue that she's the most powerful surfer on the women's tour at the moment. She's just been laying down these turns non-stop. We've been watching the Instagram. Oh, just an audible thud almost on that final turn. But every single arc, every single cutback, every single hack she does, there's so much water that's displaced. The fan of spray that comes off her board, it's undeniable, and that's why she is, I guess, feared now as a real power surfer. And she'll just blow her opponents out of the water if she keeps doing that.
Yeah, impressive stuff. She had a 7.83, and that was in limited space to really move and lay that turn down. So hopefully we see her on some bigger walls at some stage during this event. You know she's got more to give. Let's have a look at the Surfline forecast, see what's coming our way for the next few days of the event window here at the Rip Curl Pro Bells Beach, presented by Bonsoy. Take us through it, Rick.
Sure, no worries, mate. So that little storm there, that's circling, that's the thing that we're keeping an eye on. That's what's producing all this swell that we've had today. And yesterday was horrible. It was just onshore, it was blowing, and it was quite small. But towards nightfall, we started to see this swell start to turn up. And then, well, we're looking at more of the same in the next coming days. It's sort of going to track up and down in terms of size-wise, 5 to 8 foot faces around that mark, sort of head high. You know, we're going to have nice offshore winds in the morning, and then it'll turn onshore again. So almost like a bit of a rinse and repeat day. And then as we look further ahead, I'm still seeing some good stuff happening on Saturday as well, and potentially on Friday.
We'll bring it on because we do have huge matchups established in the 3rd round for the men. Also a couple of heats to get through to get the bracket set for the women. But there isn't a bigger heat on the men's side than Gabriel Medina facing up against Italo Ferreira. That is just one to watch, and this is a rare kind of moment where early in the season you're seeing world champions take on each other in the earlier rounds. It is, of course, a hydrolite heat to watch, heat number 7, and you know, this could be a heat that we're looking back on later on in the season saying, wow, these guys kind of stalled the run of their rival.
Yeah, this is how the bracket works out. And this heat right here, this is a huge hurdle for Italo Ferreira and Gabe Medina. Whoever comes through this heat is smooth sailing on the bracket the way what I'm seeing coming through this heat. But the other thing that's really impressive is the number of Brazilians that we're going to see in round 3 just as a whole. And that's why you have this friendly fire.
Yeah, well, the Aussies got decimated. They've, of course, got an incredible track record on the men's side at this venue. 27 winners since the professional era. They've only got one surfer left chasing the title, and that's Rick's good mate, George Patar. Another hydrolite heat to watch is on the women's side. Isabella Nichols up against Carissa Moore, a couple of Bells champions chasing another win.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, Carissa has a very proven record here at Bells. Isabella Nichols, the defending champion. And as you said, Kipes, it's just by nature of these legends of the sport coming back, and they're being on the lower side of the draw in the seeding order. So they're matching up against the higher seeds, which is creating these matchups early in the draw and early in the year, which are super exciting. So a big test for Isabella Nichols, because I think that Carissa Moore is in incredible form in the first heat. Man, she was on.
Yeah, she sure was. And, you know, they're just a couple of the big heats that we've identified, but you can go have a look at the bracket at worldsurfleague.com or on the app and have a look at some of the other great clashes coming our way. Gentlemen, it's time to dive into it. The BioGland Daily Dose, a day that started kind of slow, still delivered big moments, as it always does. And coming in at number 5, it is the return of Medina. He's back and back in a big way.
Oh, he sure is. The Terminator, mate. He looked comfortable in this heat. It was a textbook approach, very calculated, and some very solid surfing. And even in the interview, he said, you know, I love pro surfing. I love being back here.
The World Champs were impressive on the men's side today. Kaipo, Yago looked deadly.
Yeah, look at this guy. He had a big challenge with Mateus Hurdy in this heat, but it was all Yago showing confidence, patience, used priority, caught the 2 best waves, put up the 2 best scores. Yago Dora continues his role.
We saw Alyssa Spencer continue her magic form. She got the win in the final Challenger Series of the season. Tough draw for her in the second round, but she got the job done.
She sure did, coming up against a formidable backhand surfer in Caroline Marks, one of the toughest in the draw. She got up over her today with some solid surfing. She's most improved in my mind.
Filipe Toledo, Kipes, geez, he looks like he's in great physical form. He went out there and did what he does.
Does the distance. He sits the deepest, you know, on the reef here at Bells. Has so much speed, flawless in his approach. And these kind of conditions, when it gets challenging, that's when Phil just comes out with exciting stuff just like that. Just the pop that he gets, the speed that he's running down with that sharp eye surfboard. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, the ocean's lacking energy. He'll bring it. You know that. But number 1 today on the BioGland Daily Dose, Luana Silva, the giant killer, laughing like Dr. Evil after taking down multiple world champs in her round 2 effort.
Yeah, absolutely. And with surfing like this, it's not surprising. She did away with Stephanie Gilmore. Now she took down Tyler Wright, 2 huge names, which is an incredible confidence booster for Luana. But again, the improvement with her surfing is extraordinary. It was here last year that she really started to dig in. She realized that she was supposed to be on this tour. You know, she built that confidence, and now she's taken down the big names.
Yeah, game-changing performance for Lulu at this venue last year. Cracked her first final here, finaled again later in the season, and rightfully took her place at the top end of the Championship Tour ranks and earned her place via a CT spot to return this year, Kipes. And she's looking to be a threat again in 2026.
Always had that talent, but now really growing as a competitor in front of our eyes, season after season. Like, I agree with you. Last season was a breakthrough season for Luana Silva. Let's see if she continues on that this year.
Fellas, we're going to be back down here tomorrow. 7:30 call for a possible 8 a.m. start. Looking forward to it. Big matchups, as we mentioned. Worth going to have a look and have some picks with your mates and see who you think is going to be victorious in another tough day of competition down here. Until then, we'll leave you with some highlights. See you tomorrow.
This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.